Hello, I'm Sarah Black.
And I'm Theo Black.
And here's our review in under 7 minutes for the Oscar-nominated live-action shorts. No spoilers.
For the record, we're not doing pigeons for this. It seems a little silly. They're very short. You should go see them and watch them no matter what.
Each of these films is only one pigeon long.
Yes.
So, I mean, they all get all the pigeons.
The first one we saw was Dekalb Elementary. It's about an emotionally disturbed kid who shows up at the school to hold it hostage. And then the receptionist who tries to talk him down. I liked this one a fair bit. It's definitely one of my favorites. This or the last one, maybe. I think that this one is fairly understated in what it's doing, and I liked that. I don't know, maybe calling it unpretentious is weird, but that's what I would say. It's kind of muted in terms of the color, but also just in how it's delivering the story. It takes place over the exact length of the short itself. That all really worked for me. It's this condensed story that still has lots of layers.
Yeah, it had kind of a play-like feel because it's just really the one setting, but that gave it kind of an intimate feel. I definitely heard gasping and kind of audience reactions for this one. It definitely kind of tugged at your feelings. It's about something that's currently relevant, and It's also probably my favorite, or one of my two favorites from the set. The second one in the group was The Silent Child, which is about a family getting their deaf daughter ready for school and getting a social worker to kind of help prepare her. It was strangely, to me, shot like a BBC Gothic horror type movie, which was interesting and beautiful, and maybe they are trying to make it kind of like, Gothics are always about like families and secrets and so on, and so maybe they were trying to tie it in that way, but for me it was kind of confusing. And I think what they were saying with this film is very relevant and true. They had the statistics at the end to show you, but it's also something that can be applied to other situations. Yeah,
I agree. I think the tone or the way they shot it is a little confusing. It doesn't really work for me for the story they're telling. It's not a hugely dimensional story, but the flow of the one story is really easy to follow. There's a nice arc for our characters, which includes the parents who, you don't agree with, but you can see how they arrive at the decisions they're making, just as you can see how the helper is arriving at the decisions they make. I felt like you could track it really well. The next one is My Nephew Emmett, which is about the story of Emmett Till as told from the perspective of his uncle. Emmett Till being a kid who was murdered in 1955?
In
Mississippi, essentially for winking or something at a white woman. It's an awful story.
He's a young black man.
It's pretty awful. I think it's interesting that they told this story from the perspective of the uncle. He himself, I thought, was a pretty good actor. I liked all the expressions he was giving. A lot of it was without dialogue, so it's just him looking. And it could be the Kuleshov effect or whatever, where you put something bad next to a still face and it makes him look bad. But I thought he was emoting even without having to say anything.
Well, it's definitely, we usually think of this story from Emmett's perspective, and you don't think about his family necessarily, except in terms of being very sad about what happened. But what really was going on was that Emmett was from the big city, and they all were used to the South and living in the South, and seeing their reactions to the situation kind of added a new depth to the story. The 11 o'clock is the story of a psychologist who has to deal with a patient who thinks he's a psychologist, only which is the psychologist. And one of these films is not like the other.
How this poor film, it didn't get the memo.
Well, it's hard to watch something so comical in the middle of such kind of
very serious films trying to take on hard issues.
Yes, of the 5 films, 3 of the films were dealing with real situations, a true story, and then one of them was dealing with a real issue.
Yeah.
And then there was this.
Yeah.
And it was cute and it was fun, and I liked the way the actors played it very straight, and I liked for once it's me talking about it, I liked the compositions and the shots. I liked the setting. It just was really strange to watch it in the middle of the other films.
Yes, I also felt this one was out of place. I did enjoy it as much as I tend to enjoy comedies. I agree that it's well shot and well made. For me, what really stood out, since I wasn't too into it, is the dialogue. The dialogue was very good. I liked it. It was very, very quick, very back and forth. I believed what they were saying to each other. It was snappy, punchy. I really liked that part.
Yeah, and it's not out of place in terms of quality. It's
really
good.
It's good. It's just
well done. It's just a little bit of a what do you call it? A 360.
Whiplash,
yeah. It was a little bit of whiplash.
Yeah. The last one we saw was Watu Wote, English title, All of Us. It's about a woman who takes a bus from Kenya to Somalia, and on the way it gets attacked by Al-Shabaab terrorists. This is my other favorite of these films.
Mine too.
It's actually kind of a small story. It's really just a woman taking a bus from point A to B, but what she encounters on the way sort of challenges her to think about, her own beliefs and sort of her beliefs about the world. And I liked, it's a compelling story, and I liked that even though it's not, like, multi-dimensional, it tells that story really well.
I agree. I really like the acting in this. I thought everybody did really well.
Yeah.
And you're right. In a way, it's a small story. It's just someone trying to get from point A to B, but it's in such a tense situation.
Yeah.
And seeing the way the people reacted to that situation, I thought it was interesting and well done.
You should go see all these shorts, and then also go to Twitter and follow us, because we're going to be talking about them there.
With spoilers.
You can find me at Pigeon_Theo.
And me at Pigeon_Sarah.